Welcome everyone to our Fireside Chats number 10. I'm Tim Hollick, and with me as usual is my good friend Joe Zinni.
Tim, how are you?
I'm doing good today.
It's been a couple weeks.
Been a couple of weeks because you went through
A little
some
bit of a
crazy
difficult
stuff.
time, didn't
Yeah.
I? But, none the worse for wear. I feel better.
Well, it teaches us that we need to listen to our bodies.
Yes, absolutely. It's something that I hope I never go through again, but
Yeah.
it was a warning. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Could have been the worst.
Could have been worse.
You know, I'd be doing the chats myself.
Yeah, but that'd be a difficult thing to do.
I'd have to sit from here to there.
Go back and forth like playing chess by yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's today about?
We're going to talk about emotions. We all have them, and there's certain aspects to that. It's different than just laughing and crying emotions. We're talking about emotions and how they affect how you get through your daily life. The pluses and the minuses of emotions, especially when you're dealing with conversations, you're dealing with other people, you're dealing with business. So I want to chit chat with you and talk about how you deal with your emotions. Now, there's a lot of people who are very emotional. There are people who are thinkers. I look at you as somebody that is a thinker, but you're emotional about your thoughts.
Yes.
And about your passions about what you do. And that's kind of a rare breed sometimes. So it's interesting to see somebody that can do both ends of it. I talk about don't let your emotions get in your way of making decisions. Decisions are a thoughtful process, but you need to know how you feel about things too. So when it comes down to how do you control your emotions when need be?
Well, there's different kinds of emotions. We have emotions that actually help us go forward. That's a motivator.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when it comes to interacting in business, interacting in people, you have to mask those emotions. Like, I might not like everybody I deal with in business.
Sure.
But I have to put that aside.
Yes.
I have to just put the veil over the head and say, I need to go forward what I'm trying to achieve here. So I've achieved something in my head that I want, so now I go to bat with facts. If you don't go with facts, emotions tie in too many other thoughts, and what happens is you start to get personal. And personal doesn't help anything. No,
because you're not making a personal decision, you're making a business decision. You're working on that aspect with your business associate, or somebody you may, like you said, might not even like the person, but you have to do business with them.
That's right. You still have to keep it going forward because you cannot, see, that's when emotions will take over. Somebody might not like that person and they act that way in front of you.
Sure.
You're not going to get what you need.
No.
I think Donald Trump is a perfect example.
I think he's a great
And he
example.
knows how to turn his emotions on when he's trying to get something.
Right.
He might do that on purpose. I mean, I remember in my shop, if I wanted to get something across to people, I wasn't getting across any other way, I just flip out in the shop someday, throw things.
How'd that work out for you?
It worked very well because it made people think. It made people, I did it on purpose. I just flipped out like, you're doing things wrong.
Yep.
I'm not happy about it. Rush off, and it makes people think.
But you also get their attention.
That's right.
It's their emotions going on and how they feel about themselves.
That's right. And that's a key. How do you feel about yourself? And I think when you get emotional, it could be emotions of inaccuracy. It could get, not being confident. There's so many things emotions can do to our minds and our bodies, and we show it. As soon as say my wife calls me with something and she wants to talk about it, and there's something that happened, and I don't sit there and listen to it. I just say, give me the facts.
Yeah.
Give me the facts. Say it's a relationship battle.
Yeah.
Give me the facts.
Yeah. What's going on?
I need to go on with that. I can't let her emotions and being mad at somebody or mad at something, cloud my head.
Well, then it's going to influence you, and you're not looking to be influenced. You're looking to give her the solution, and the only way you're going to do that is get to the solid piece of that.
Right. And do we always come up with the right solution? No. I'm just a firm believer in is when you need to make a decision, you got to make a decision whether it's right or wrong.
Correct.
You need to make things go forward.
Correct.
I haven't made all the right decisions in my life because sometimes I haven't, and you deal with that and you learn by it. I've done things emotionally before, and I've learned what it brings.
Yeah.
It's like give you an example, going to an auction. I like to make examples so people can understand it.
Right.
When I used to go to machine auctions, and
This is a very good analogy.
Yeah, I used to go there and I know what I wanted. So I'd go up there and I'd put a price in my head. I wouldn't want to pay more than that.
Yep.
Because you know what the emotions are like when you're bidding back and forth.
Want it, gotta have it, gotta spend the money for it, when in reality, when you're in business, you can't do that because it affects your bottom line.
Stop it at the top money you put in your head and let it go on from there. And I've done that before. And I've gotten caught up in it, and actually somebody kept bidding when I finally realized, hey, I'm getting off here.
Yep.
And then I get out. So I've never bought something more than I wanted to pay for it. And when I went in there, man, that's how bad I want a machine. I would give a top price with a little bit of fudge from there, maybe a little bit more, and that's how I evaluate it. But don't let the emotions of that bidding, because that guy that's doing the bidding will get you hyped up.
Well, of course, and that's his job, is to work on your emotions. We all know that buying and selling is a lot about emotions, and people, you know, if they want something, they're going to spend the money for it. Your job is to give them what they still want.
Right.
And if they want more, they want to go by their emotions. You're going to sell it to them. But you know, their emotions can't affect your emotions. You need to still stay in business.
Right. And I'll give you another example of emotions. You know, Facebook for general.
Yeah.
And you got the people on there that kind of converse on there, and they like to tell you their dirty laundry, or if they're having a fight with somebody. Now, I know their emotions are doing that so they get sympathy.
Sure.
People want sympathy.
They do.
It's nothing better than to feel that person coming back at you and saying, I understand what you mean, this and that. But they don't realize how they're hurting themselves in the real world of business or going forward in something in school, whatever it is.
Or the relationship they deal with.
Yeah, because people,
And the effect.
you know, people will back off of people like that and not really want to deal with them, and they put a bad thought in their mind about those people. And, you know, we all gone through it. We all want to feel good when we're having problems.
Well, we don't want the negativity though, and when you put the negativity out there, all you're asking for then is the emotional background of that, of festering that negativity, and that's not what you're trying to go for. You're trying to find the positive. Try to avoid that, because people do look at you differently when you're venting your dirty laundry. You know, try and keep it. I get it. You get frustrated. You want to say something. You can do that, but then remember, back off.
Right.
Use your head while you're going through that too.
And if they don't care about life in general, they don't care in business if they're moving to move forward, then they do what they want. That's their prerogative. I always say that. Remember, I always say to my things, if you're happy with your life,
Do it.
great.
Yeah.
But if you want more,
Right.
this is what you need to do to get more. And emotions are a big part of how you go forward, because if you mix too many emotions and let it get personal in your mind, you're not going to make the right decisions,
You can get stuck in
or
the
you're not going to make the right deal with somebody. Somebody will try to drag you into emotions. I've been in deals like that before, negotiations, you know. I go through it, you know, with the negotiations at school when I'm part of that.
Sure.
You cannot let the emotions of somebody else steer your mind. You can help it, maybe make some minor decisions separately, differently than you thought, but you can't go off of, you know, I'm a firm believer in budgets. Budgets match whether they're at home,
Right.
at work, no matter what the situation. You overspend, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, that goes back to the analogy you used about the auction, which I thought was a great one. One thing you pointed out, and people don't realize it, confidence is an emotion. It's
Yes.
a piece of what's inside of you. And confidence drives a lot of emotional issues. The pluses and the minuses, you know, I know too many people that don't have enough confidence, and there's some people that have too much confidence. Where is your balance there?
You know, again, you're right, because if you're too confident, you're showing emotions, you're showing attitude.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be confident, but you got to remember when you're in negotiations or trying to go something forward in business, you sometimes have to make it a win-win too. You might have to adjust from what you originally think. That's when stubbornness emotion will
It's
get
another
your way.
emotion that can be really tough to deal with.
Because when you hear back and forth with negotiations or going forward with a business plan, you have to adjust some, you know, and sometimes, you know, somebody else will make me think a little bit differently.
Yeah.
It won't drive too far off of my course where I want to go, but it might bend some, you know, so confidence is good, but you can't get cocky.
No, and there's a difference between confidence, having strong confidence, and being cocky. I think when you get into the cockiness, you've now gone almost to the point where it's a negative because of the fact you may not have the confidence and you're now using cockiness. You're trying to, you know, you're trying to enforce your values on somebody else, and that doesn't always work either. So So.
No, because a lot of people, it's like confrontation. Most people hate confrontation. And why is that? Because they feel if they say something, they're going to get a negative back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you do it wrong, you just hit it right on the nose when you said that. If you are unconfident and you show cockiness going to confident, you're going to turn people off.
Yes, you are.
You know, and you can't have that either. So there's a fine line to everything in life. But I find out when you're going forward, no matter what it is, ask questions. Don't force things on people.
Sure.
As soon as you're forcing them, you cause them to be emotional, and you're not going to get anything good back. Negotiations are there to make something work most of the time.
They are.
They have to be a win-win. If they're
And
not, it's a no-win.
And you said earlier, you got to be able to bend back and forth, because that's the only way you're going to negotiate. And when your emotions get involved, you got to be able to work. You give a little, get a little, and so that people will calm down.
Right.
And that's the key thing. When you get in an escalated situation, you want people to calm down. When you get into a situation where things are getting a little out of hand, negotiations are going either bad, or it could even be going good, but they're going so fast, find a tool, and what is your tool, to get that situation to calm down.
That's right. And those are by questions. Questions, if you start to have people answer questions, it puts things in their minds.
Yes.
It's just like, you know, if you're on trial, let's say you're the lawyer, the worst thing to do is to jam something down somebody's throat. Bring in examples, bring in things so people think.
Yes.
When people think, they become much clearer.
Breaks down the emotions a little bit.
It does, breaks the emotions, makes their mind think a little bit more. It's like coaching. That's all coaching is asking good questions. When I coach people, I don't tell them what to do. I just ask them questions.
And listen to what they
figure
have to
it out.
say.
Yeah, and they figure it out.
Yeah.
It really does. So, you know, emotions, there's always going to be emotions in life. It's like what Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich. I mean, there's so many parts of the mind and the body. You know, sexual energy is a big part of how successful people go. How they, how they channel their sexual feelings to go forward too. It's a big part of successful people. And, you know, very complicated book, but if you read it over and over, it starts to come to you because
That's
your
an old
mind.
book too.
It sure is. What was it? Written in 1937?
Something like that.
You know?
It was back in the 30s or something. And so to think that we're still using those values for what he was teaching then, today,
I go back to that book a lot.
it just shows you.
Just went through it recently this morning reading.
See, and it just shows you what he was thinking about back then and the values that he had. We can still use them 80 years later. It's an amazing
right.
piece to realize. One of the things I wanted to talk about too is how do you use your emotions to your advantage?
Well, like we said earlier, you know, sometimes you have to flip out in front of people when nothing else is working, and sometimes it wakes people up to say, you know, I've got to make a change here.
Yeah.
Something's not going right. The boss, the owner, whoever the person is not happy. That you can use to advantage. You can also use emotion advantage, good emotions. How you tie your story into when you are negotiating. Sometimes you have to convince people.
You
So
always
your
have to convince
emotions,
people,
so your emotions have to be part of that. But that's good emotions. There's good and bad. Some people have chastised me on Facebook when I say don't,
Right.
use emotion. Well, I don't mean it in that way. I just mean bad emotions.
Yeah.
And Napoleon Hill, puts them in categories: good stuff, bad stuff. That's what I like about what he does.
Covey
Good
does-
emotions
Covey
is
does
envy,
it.
not jealousy.
Yeah. There's a difference.
Sorry, not Covey. Meant to say Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, no, I know, but Covey also does the same.
Covey
thing.
does too, yeah.
But you're right, envy is different than jealousy. Jealousy is a bad emotion, envy is a good one because it enforces in you where you want to go.
That's right.
Jealousy is just going to hold you back.
Anger, bad emotion.
Yeah.
Very bad emotion.
And I mean, it's time to show it, but you want to keep that to a minimum because it's
Yeah, it sure is. So, it just matters the situation. Stop and think first. Think of some facts first, and then tie good emotions into what you're trying to portray to somebody
That's
else.
beautiful. Right,
And that's
beautiful. Tie
really
in
what
your
brings it
positive
together.
emotions. It's nothing
Right.
better than that.
Because you've got to convince people sometimes. You've got to, make them think a little bit differently. And I'm not saying when you're trying to force somebody to be different. It's a business situation. It could be a relationship situation. You've got to balance it. And there are good and bad emotions. Just don't use the bad ones unless you're trying to make a point.
Yeah, well, use them effectively.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important. I think that kind of sums up what you've talked about. It's okay to use your emotions, but use them effectively.
Right.
Don't get carried away. One of the things that you got to go back to the confidence thing. That is so important. People don't realize that that's a true emotion is your confidence, and you need to use that to your advantage.
And sometimes having a little bit lower self-confidence is a good thing too. It keeps you on your toes. I'm not always confident,
No, who is?
but I know how to channel to make it better.
Well, now I think it comes back to that's the thinking part of it. That's the part that you start processing things a little bit better.
Right, exactly. And like I say, when it comes to, you talking with people and it's a relationship thing, the worst thing you can do is, latch back. That's the confrontation thing. If you latch back, that's when you have somebody come back at you, whether it's a verbal or a punch.
Yeah.
So,
or even just shut you down.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing worse than that either.
but don't fear confrontation. Confrontation is actually good because it makes both parties think. So it comes down to just calm yourself down, ask good questions, or bring it in another way.
Yeah.
Like Covey always says, between stimulus and response is a space.
Yes.
That space is, our whole happiness. So if somebody says or does something to you that makes you mad, step back. Don't respond instantly because you're mad, you're angry.
Right.
So take that anger, go back, and then talk when you can. And it's a whole different situation. You don't make a confrontation when you tell people how you feel when you're not emotional.
Right. So take the confrontation and turn it into negotiations.
That's right.
And now you've gone from a negative to a positive.
Yeah, because you can tell people what you're not happy about, not angry.
Right.
You
No,
don't need to be angry.
No, you don't.
That's when confrontation happens and nothing happens well. If it's not a win-win, it's a no deal.
That's right.
It's a no deal.
Right.
Both parties aren't going to win. It's a no deal.
Right.
Trump just showed that with North Korea. He walked away from negotiations.
Sometimes
Because it
that's
wasn't
the
gonna be
answer. Sometimes that's the answer.
That's right. Still could turn out wrong, could turn out right. You don't know. Everything is a gamble when it's negotiations.
And we also you don't know all the particulars of someone else's situation.
That's right.
So.
Exactly.
I really like this topic. I think we did a good job with this one. We're going to have another one next week. I hope you folks are enjoying our fireside chats. Tim, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Joe. I always have fun doing this. It does.
But I'm glad we're in that time span because I think folks will enjoy that. But if you can take something out of this today, I hope that you've listened to what Tim had to say about how he handles his emotions and deals with them.
Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.